Hey gang, part 2 of the Cub Cadet. I woke up last night at about 11:45 and I thought, well, I'm getting awful close to 10,000 subs. Just go ahead and pop the computer on and see where I'm at. And at 11:45 I reached 10,000 subscribers. So you guys are just awesome. So I'm just getting these levers out of here to give me some slack on the cables. As you can see, wait a minute, let me drop you down. As you can see, give me some slack on the cables so that I can lubricate these cables and get them freed up. You can see the oxidization on those. This poor thing sat for a while. I'm just going to put the shoulder bolt and the nut right back on with my hand in the way. I'm going to turn it a bit and get this other side done. Let me adjust the camera because you guys cannot see what I'm doing. 10,000 subscribers. I didn't think I'd ever see that day when I first started my channel. Started it just for fun, just to give me something to do. And it did give me something to do. And it also gave me some of the most incredible friends and subscribers. And I still, to this day, do my absolute very best to make sure that I communicate with all of you whenever you are leaving me messages, when you're commenting. Every once in a while I'll miss one, but I also always do my best to make sure that I let you guys know that I have seen it by clicking on a little heart icon. I'm just going to go ahead and relieve these out of their perch. Excuse me. Alright, that's the back one. The reason I released them out of their perch just to make it easier for me to lubricate the cables. Alright, we got a little rubber. Get you back down here. Move you around, move you around. We've got little boots on here. I'll pop those little boots off so that I can get in there and lube those cables up. But I'm going to go through, and I should have done it before on how hard they are to pull, but they're really hard to pull. Those cables, they've picked up a good bit of liquid. And let's take a look down here. Right here. All three of these cables have been mashed that way. So that's going to make those cables real hard to move as well. So I'll do my best to straighten those out. And try to keep a little bit of life in them. But let me get my cable lubricator and get them on there. And after I get the cable lubricators on there, I might even be able to twist these off. Yeah, that's the ticket right there. I'll twist those off. That'll make it a whole lot easier for me to get my cable lubricator on there. Or just screw on. There we go. I'll do the first one or two, and then you guys will get the idea. Pretty much all the cable lubricator does is it has a inner sleeve. Let me see if I can pop that sucker out. There we go. It's got this inner sleeve, and on that inner sleeve it's graduated. It steps up and steps down, whatever you want to call it, and it's slit. It just has the not even a hole in the end. It's just slit. And then it's got these four spots here that the molds slide into to keep it in place, and also for that groove right there. So we will slide this back in, get it back in place. It should be good enough. Let me just go ahead and tighten it down, make sure it's lining up right. Yeah, see, got those spots there. And this one right here is the one that we use. It's the only one with a hole in it. See a little hole? That's the one we use to put our hose in. And I'm going to use actual chain and cable lube on these because it has water resistant properties to it. So let me grab that real quick and we'll spray a couple of cables. And it's made by PB Blaster, just so you know. That's it right there. That's what I'm using. PB Blaster. I'll go ahead and insert this one in here. I'd say it's in there and holding on okay. Now, to put these on, easy enough, just make sure that you've got these screwed all the way out. And then you take it and put the closed end on the cable side, the open end on the sheath side. You pull it up as far as it'll go, and you tighten everything down. And tighten it down pretty good. And these are kind of messy. It's going to make a mess. Some's going to squirt out there. But that's okay. Then sorry I'm out of view. Kind of having to hold my tongue and get that sucker in there. Hang on. I'm fighting it. Can you tell? Alright, we got the... I might need to back that out just a little bit. Let me back that up just a little. Just the sheath. That's good. Wanted to be sure that I had that nozzle at the end of the cable, not having to fight and go around the sheath. Let me get this on there. I'm just going to give it quick little bursts. Good and tight. And the whole idea here is you keep doing it until you see evidence of the fluid making it to the end of the cable. So I'm going to lather, rinse, repeat on 4 more cables, get all those cables loosened up, and then we'll put everything back together and we will see if the levers are easier to operate. So we will be right back. Alright gang, we got the cables all lubricated, got the handles back on, and those are all working marvelously. Gotta love those cable lubricators. Now what we're going to do is see what in the world is going on with that. Okay, now looking at the arm, it's a rather substantial arm. You know, it's made out of 3/16 or 1/8 inch stock. So what's going on? Well, maybe we can get a little peek up in there. You see that little horseshoe? There's a nut or a bolt on there that goes down into the transmission, and it's just worked itself loose. So I'm going to tighten that up real quick, and mind you, you guys can see how much flopping that's doing. Let's see how much flopping it does after I get that tightened down. Stay tuned. Alright, we got her tightened down, and now there's no play in it. It goes into each of the gears just the way that it should. So that's all that was. That was pretty easy. So let's go ahead and set her back down on the ground. Well, let's check the blades here real quick before we do that. Get the flashlight again. Since we've got it up in the air, we'll take a look up underneath here and see what we've got. Suppose I can spin the microphone a little bit. Sorry about that. Fingers are in the lens. Okay. That deck is really clean underneath there. It has been sitting a long time. It's got a whole bunch of twine wrapped around both of the spindles. But we'll give that a look into. And we also need to find out where our parasitic draw is at. Because as soon as I attach the negative terminal, I get a minute spark. So something is amiss. What it is, I don't know, but it's drawing current with the battery connected, and we certainly do not want to send this back if all it's going to do is keep killing the battery, right? So we'll get into this funky Cub Cadet motor and see what we come up with as far as that goes. So underneath side of the deck looks good, no broccoli to clean out. We'll set her back down and I'll get the camera set back up and we will investigate the fuel system, drop the fuel bowl, just take a look at things because it has been sitting a while. Forget what year it is, 2011. So it's 7 years old. 7.5. It was made in February. Automatic unhook. Of course, it's going to catch on something else. Ha ha. That figures, doesn't it? Got caught on the gas tank. There we go. Get it out of the way. We don't need it in there anymore. We got just a little bit of a mess here. I have this is the ignition trigger that's supposed to trigger the ignition with the key, and it is not doing that. But since I tightened up the neutral safety, let's see if that didn't take care of, or I said neutral safety. Now that I've taken care of the shifter lever, let's see if that enables the neutral safety to work. So we'll do that first before we tear the carburetor and whatnot off. Hang on. Alright, now we're going to pay attention to the carburetor. Even though this thing runs, it's running like crap, so I can only assume that we've got some stuck stuff. So I've got my hemostats. I'm going to pinch the fuel line off here. And we're going to release the fuel bolt drain here. Really odd looking carburetor. Let that all drain out. Yeah, gas is pretty yellow. So my guess is just bad gas, old gas. I'm gonna go ahead and drain the tank out. I'll check here for any water. Well, you guys can't see, but we've got a little bit of water in there. Not too much, just a little bit. So the name of that HUAY is the name of the carburetor, whatever that is. We may go ahead and drop the carburetor off and throw it in the sonic cleaner. I do have to run in town, get a new ignition switch. The key switch is facing straight up and this thing sat outside. So the key switch took on a bunch of moisture. So I'm going to heat the sonic cleaner up, take the carburetor off, run it through a good cleaning cycle. After I get it through the cleaning cycle, we'll revisit it. But in the meantime, it's just going to be a second for you guys, but for me, I'm going to run into town. A, I need to go get batteries, and B, I've got to go pay a premium for a Cub Cadet specific starter switch, which is just a pain in the rear. But at any rate, doesn't do any good to gripe about it, does it? It really doesn't. Yeah, I'm using a Craftsman. I don't use these very much, but it is a USA made. One of these days are just going to be rare as hen's teeth, right? Looks like the whole blower housing has to come off in order to get the carburetor off, because this piece here, I don't know what you're seeing. This piece here is attached to the entire blower housing. No, it looks like it'll snake out of there. So I'm going to take the carburetor off, get the parts washer plugged in, get it started warming up, ultrasonic cleaner, and by the time I get back with a new key switch, we should be able to pop that sucker off, throw it in there, and get it cleaned up. So it's just going to be a second for you guys, but it's going to be a little bit for me. I'll be back. Alright gang, I went ahead and pulled the carburetor, and it's about as clean as it can be. There was some gel in the bottom of it. All the jets are good and clean. Didn't have any issues inside it that I could determine, and all the ports are good and clean. The whole thing is, in my opinion, ready to rock and roll just the way it is. So I'm just going to roll with it. I'm not going to worry about putting it in the parts washer because it's really clean. And what a pain to get it out, I'll tell you. Over-engineered stuff. Gotta love it, right? Let's go ahead and stick her back together, and we'll check our float, make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. There we go. Okay, in that position there, I should not be able to blow in. And I can't. I turn it upside down. I should be able to. Alright. I'm going to attribute everything that's going on with it to bad gas. Just bad gas. Get my bearings straight here. It's going to go in just like that. Nope, sorry. It's going to go in just like that. That needs to go that way. And fuel solenoid, like on a Briggs, you know how you can take it off or unplug it? Yeah, not so much on this. So I had to physically remove the fuel solenoid, but the thing is, in order to remove the fuel solenoid, you have to get the carburetor off. So in order to get the carburetor off, you have to take the bolts off that go through the holes on this. I'll show you here. Let's get over to it. Okay. These two long bolts here, they didn't allow me to pull it all the way off because I was restricted by the length of the wires on the fuel solenoid. So what did I have to do? Well, I had to get back in behind the carburetor after pulling it out a little bit and get those studs pulled out. So now I've got to put the studs back in, but I'm going to have to do it in reverse of how I did it so that I can get the fuel solenoid back on. Engineered to be complicated. It's just about the only way I can say it. But We're going to drain the tank, change the fuel filter, put some fresh fuel in it, and see what we've got after we get that done. Also going to pull the plug, check the condition of the plug, see if it needs cleaned. It probably does. Sounded like it was trying to run on automatic. It's got an automatic choke. Sounded like it was trying to run on choke. So we'll remedy that. No, it doesn't have an automatic choke either. I take that back. It's manual, but it was blowing black smoke while I was running it. So let's get her thrown back together, and we'll start her back up, see if she sounds any better with some good gas in it. Hang on. Now I just brought it back in after a good carb cleaning. I've got the switch sitting out because I've got to go pick up a new switch, but we got the key on. Let's give her a start. Oh, let's give her a start in neutral. How about that? So other than putting a new key switch in, this 103 hour, so I ran it for about a half hour, 103 hour Cub Cadet is ready to go off to a new home. Cleaned carburetor out, and it wasn't too bad, so I didn't have to worry about putting it in the parts washer. And drained all the old fuel out, put new fuel in it, and it's right as rain. It's doing just fine. So let me go get a new key switch, and that'll wrap up another one. Next, GT225. It's just a general service that's going to be done on that. Clean the broccoli out from underneath the deck, sharpen the blades, change the oil, grease everywhere that needs to be greased, change the oil filter, air filter, check everything, check the belts, tire pressure. Just the general service is going on with that, so won't be recording that. So that's it. This is your friendly neighborhood Zippo that is now a milestone 10,000 sub YouTuber. So again, thank all of you for all of your support, for the subscriptions, for following me, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll catch you on the next one. Zippo later. I'm out of here.